Hey guys, in this video I'm going to share my thoughts with you in case if you're thinking about becoming a web developer or you have been thinking about it for a while. I just don't know which route to go or whether or not if you want to get into it or not. If you are seriously considering about getting into web development career or task or trying to find a job in there, or you're not really sure if you should invest any time into it, getting into it, whatnot, then in here, watch this video throughout the whole end and you will have a very good idea as to whether or not you should get into web development or you should not waste your time. So why I think you should get into web development is because once you become a web developer, you will no longer have to worry about sitting at one place, meaning go to your job like a regular person 9 to 5. You can literally work from anywhere in the world. So one day you could be in the United States, and next day or next week, if you wanted to go on a vacation, you can go to Florida or a Caribbean or anywhere else that you would like to. As long as you have internet connection, you can still do your work. I don't know about you, but that to me, that sounds great. And also, another great benefit about this industry is that it does not discriminate against your age. It doesn't matter whether you are a 14-year-old kid or you're a 55-year-old guy. It does not matter. What the companies are looking for is someone who can do the work for them, and then that's all that matters. You don't need to have any certification per se, or you don't need to go to school. I know people are like, oh my God, I should really go to school and get my web development experience. Guys, I've been doing this for a very long time now. And I can tell you from a personal experience, most company will not care if you went to school or if you have any certification. They're just not gonna care. What they really care about is, can you do the work? If yes, you're hired and let's get to work. That's all. And the beauty of it is you can learn this web development technology on your own time, on your spare time, and experiment with it and as you go. And once you get better and better at it, you're going to be flourish like a flower. It's going to be like amazing. But that's just a little snippet of what the whole web development is. If so far you're still listening and this sounds great to you, like, oh Mark, I can't wait to get started, and how do I get this thing started? Not to worry, I'm going to cover in here how to create a basic, let me emphasize that, a very basic web page. That's all we're going to do. All that thing is going to say hello world, or we will add just a few more things, but this is just to give you a building block of how simple it is. And then you can determine from there on if you want to move forward. If you do, please follow my channel, subscribe to it, go to my website, which is codewithmark.com. Once again, the website is codewithmark.com. There you will find a whole bunch of different tutorials, videos, training, and all that good stuff. But if you have any questions, I'm always looking ways to help people out. So if you have any questions, just go into the contact section to send me an email. Without any further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to open up a text editor. There are several text editors out there, whether you're using a Mac or PC or any other one. I'm using Sublime Text. That's my personal preference of a text editor. But you can use Node++, which is a free one. And I will put the link in the description for everything that I talk about here, so you don't have to worry about it. Like anything you see on the screen, you can just click on the link, literally copy, paste, and then start to go from there. And so without that said, so what we are looking at is, let me zoom this in for you so it will be really big so you can see it on your screen. So this is your basic template for a web page. Let's go through it line by line. So the very first line where it says open bracket, exclamation mark, doc type, HTML. This exclamation mark, what this does is it will make your page HTML5 friendly. If you don't know what that means, it means is like there's a new technology out there that's HTML5, which will allow you to do a lot more than your regular HTML. Just take that as a face value and you will find out soon enough that like it's true. And the next line is your HTML. And before I go any further, let me explain to you what this means. So if you want to open some tag, these are called tags: HTML, header, meta, and all that good stuff. Some tags require for you to have an open tag. In this case, this is HTML, and then at the end of it, it has to be closed by this tag. So for example, this HTML tag, it opens with open bracket, and you write the word in here, HTML. This will identify anything between those two tags is all HTML tags, syntax, wording, and all that good stuff. And then you close this by close bracket, and anything you put in here between this line and this line, it will be considered as part of HTML. And then, as you will see right now, it has open bracket followed by / and the word HTML, and then close bracket. That indicates to the web page, hey, this is the end of tag. In between these two tags, I'm gonna put whatever these tags indicate. So that's your basic, the HTML part one is that this is indicate that that's your web page. And then within the web page, you have header, which goes at the very top of the page. And then you have your body, which will include your images, your text, your H tags, H1 tags, bold, strong, and all that good stuff. If that does not make any sense to you, not to worry. This is just a brief preview of what's to come that you will be learning. This is just to show you how you can create this very, very simple web page in a very short period of time. So let's go to that. So we have covered HTML tag, open and close, body, open and close, and then header. And then in the header, let's dive right into it. So this in here, from this head tag to this head tag, we have several different lines of code. So let's go through this. So we have this line. What that means is this particular one line of code, what this is going to do is it's going to make your web page responsive. If you don't know what responsive means, that means if you view your page from your desktop, it will have a one view. And then if you view it from your tablet or your smartphone, it will shrink the size appropriately automatically. You don't have to do anything just because of this one line of code. And then followed by, you have your title tag. So we have title open and title close. Anything you put in between in here is going to show up at the top of your page as well as on your Google search result. And I will go into it later on when we actually see a live example. So let's go to the next line. So in here we have our description tag, which is this is called meta tag. And in here you got your meta, and the name in this case is description, and then the content, whatever you want to put in here. And then I'm sure you have done any research in the past where you type something in there, let's say, I don't know, jQuery or something like that. And then the very top in Google search, they have something highlighted called jQuery. And then underneath it, they have an explanation of what that is. And this is where the description part right here shows up from there. So anything you want to tell the search engine, you put it under the description here. This was what they're going to show in their search result. And this is standard across no matter what search engine you use, whether you use AOL or Bing or Google or any other search engine that's out there. That's just standard. And then we have keywords. The keywords are becoming less and less popular nowadays because search engines are getting smarter and smarter, so they're ignoring any keywords in here. But some search engines still find or use it in as part of their search result algorithm. So what this does is you can put like a special keywords in here saying, hey, this page is about blah, 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 blah. So if your page contains something like, I don't know, something about programming or coding or anything like that, you could put a brief keyword in here. Like for example, if your page has a word called keywords, you could put keywords in here. Or if it has code related, you could put code in here. Mark, code with Mark, or call it yummy food or meals or whatever that you have. I'm just going to delete it. You could put that right in here. And then that is your top of your page. So let me show you what that looks like when I open this bad boy up. So let's go in here. So here it is. So this is your basic page. You're like, oh my God, that's great, Mark. I don't see anything. It's blank. I know. That's the whole point. But if you look right here up top where it says page title goes here. And if I bring that back up here, it says page title goes in here. So if I change this to, let's say, my first web page, and I'm gonna save it. Then I go back in here and refresh it, and you'll see it says my first web page. And that's how simple it is. This is how you tell the search engines, hey, this is what this web page title is. And if I right click in here in my Chrome, I'm using Google Chrome for the time being. If I right click in here and then I click on view source code, and in here, this will come up all the source code that we have typed in here. When we created the page, it will also show up in here as well. So that's how you create a very basic template. So let's put some text in here so it makes a little more sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on over to my site, in which I will already have a text editor there for you, so you will be able to practice. So let's say go with Mark, and then I'm going to go to HTML editor. And in here, guys, you can go to this URL, and what this will do is it will allow you to know exactly what each HTML tags mean. So if I type something in here, where you type your text in here, it'd be just like you're using a Word document. You type it here, and then underneath it, it will show up appropriate tags. So let's say if I want to say, this is my first web page ever. It looks cool. As you saw, as I'm typing it, we have words converting it back into the HTML tags. So let me just put an S in here because it doesn't say this. So I'm gonna put a space it, and then I'm gonna say I like this. And there you go. Now, if I want to make this bold, this part, I can just highlight it and then say bold. Simple. And then what it will do is underneath it, it's going to say, hey, this is cool. It will give you a tag. This is what the bold tag stands for, is strong. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go in here and put this between my body tags. So here it is. So if I go in here now and refresh it, and then voila, there we have it. All right, so that's simple. Now you have created yourself a web page. Nothing special, right? But wait, there's a lot special about it. Most people don't know how to do it, but if you understand this basic principle, then you are on your way to being a web developer. Simple as that. So let's go to the next one. And in here, what we can do, now that we know how to create a basic page, and next what we will learn is how to include external library. Once again, guys, if you're just watching this and you are like, oh, I already know this, but keep in mind, this is only for a basic user, person who does not know and want to know more about it. This is for that person. So moving on. So library, which is called CSS. What CSS stands for is your styling cascading sheet. It will make your page look pretty, and you can style it different ways, make it different color and all that good stuff. And then we have JavaScript. jQuery is one of the famous one out there, which is a framework in which you can manipulate any of the DOM elements being your body tag, your p tag, your strong tag, and those things. So anything in between here, you can manipulate it with jQuery. All right. And then how do you include a styling sheet that is external, which means it's somewhere else? You open it with this tag, and then you type this in, and then this is the URL where you put in here. If you have it local, which means it's in your folder, so let me bring this up. So if you have a file in here, let's just say it's, I don't know, I'm making it up as I go. So I'll call this my dash css.css or something like that. My style, I'll call it my style. Yes, I want to create this. So if I do this and I want to include it in this page, all I do is go to my link tab in here and say this. So rather than it's being somewhere else in the world, in the cloud or on somebody else's website, you could include it locally, and that's what it's called, locally. This is part of your folder. But I'm going to undo this. I'm going to keep that there. And then for your JavaScript, you include this tag, which is open bracket script followed by the source equal and wherever your URL is. Same principle applies. So if you want to include it locally, you put in whatever the file is, and then you put that in here. Or if you have it somewhere else, like CDN, you include it there. And then followed by type, which is JavaScript, and you close it with the script. That's how you include your external libraries or a JavaScript library. And let's go on to doing the jQuery. So if you want to use the jQuery, being that you included up here, you open it by script and then this line of code, which means what that says is it will make it ready, available for you to use it once the page has completely loaded or is ready to be manipulated. So you're like, what the hell does that mean? I don't know what that means. All right, let's go back. So in here, what it does is it's going to go when you go to a particular website. Let's just suppose this is a website. When I refresh it, right now nothing happened because everything is local. When I refresh this, what this page is going to do is going to go and load it on my browser, which is this window. And then the moment I go to it, or if I hit refresh, it's going to start what's called painting. It's going to start displaying the text as it comes. So first, what it's going to do, it happens so fast that you're not even going to see it. But behind scenes, when you are looking through the eyes of a web browser or a search engine, this is what it's doing. It's going to say, hey, I want to go in here. I'm going to print this first line, which is this line. And once I'm done, then I'm going to print this line and then this line and this line. And then any individual page could have like a lot of lines in there, and it's going to go print those. And that's what this means, is once all those lines have been printed, then do something with jQuery. So in here, what I want to do is I'm going to say, well, let me finish this first. So we included with this line, followed by bracket, and followed by close bracket, close parenthesis, and end it with the script tag. So now if I want to add something to the body, which is right here. So if I go in here, which is my page libs, just to show you, this page right here says lib page. So if I go refresh this at the moment, I'm refreshing, nothing is happening. Now what I want to do is, after the page has been loaded, I want to include something to the body. So it will be added here dynamically. That's what it's called. Or you can also think of it as automatically. So what I want to say, to the body, this is how you do it. So it's going to be a $, open parenthesis, code body, and then code followed by a close parenthesis. Sometimes. So what this line does is, it's going to say, hey, once the page has been completely loaded, then I want you to run this command, which will say, to the body tag, go on and add this text. So I'm gonna say this, some text added auto automate. I'll just say auto, just to show you. So once the page is loaded, then this code is going to get executed, and then it's going to add it, some text added auto, and then I'm going to end this with semicolon. That's a good practice to have. Some people don't do it, some do. It's your personal preference if you want to include it at the end or not, but it's not necessary. So let's refresh this page now. As you saw before, I refreshed it, nothing happened. Now what is going to happen is it's going to show that text that I added. So I go here, like, wow. Like, there you go. This happened dynamically. So if I look at the view source code, there's nothing here. So as you can see, you can have what's called static content, which is this, something that I put it in the body tag, or dynamic content, which is this. You can add it on the fly. All right, so that's been said. Let's move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you when I said about the whole page title thing. So I already typed in the word jQuery in here. So you see here I have jQuery and then the URL, and then this is the description part. So if I open this up in another tab and I go here, and then right now it has a whole bunch of stuff. So if I look at its source code and open this up, and then look at here, see where it says title, it says jQuery, and I go back here, it says jQuery, and in the description it will say jQuery colon the write less do more JavaScript library. So if I look for the description tag here, which is this, as you'll see, it says exactly that. So with that said, I will conclude this video, and hopefully this will help you decide whether or not you want to get into web development. And I'm going to show you, if you do decide, and I will highly encourage you to do so, the freedom that you're going to have is going to be beyond, and I cannot emphasize that word, beyond your wildest dream. Until next time, happy coding.